Who is the culprit? I think it was Dirt.
What did I do? What happened now?
It was definitely John Sukanik. Who was the person that did not vote Ichiro Suzuki into the MLB Hall of Fame yesterday?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, it could have been me. I could have been a non-Ichiro voter. Hit the ball out of the infield. Swing the bat like a man. This is America, damn it. We're beating out singles. I love that we have this. The Baseball Hall of Fame is one of the dumbest and has turned into one of the most irrelevant things because of crap like this.
Oh.
Somebody not voting Ichiro to be a first ballot Hall of Fame. Like, nah, I'm not going to do it. The guy didn't show up in the big leagues until he was, 27 years old? And he had 3,000 hits in his career.
Might have beaten Pete Rose.
If he had played his entire career,
yeah.
if he came over the age of 20 and we got this guy at the early years of his MLB career, like, absolutely ludicrous. And then looking at the other vote getters of like, oh, yeah, we're not putting Andrew Jones in the Hall of Fame again. Really?
Oh, he's going to get there next year, though.
Okay, next year. We'll do it. It can't be this year, but next year he'll do it. All right, Alex Rodriguez is getting like 30% of the vote.
He's not going to get in either.
Not going to get in. We can't do that. No, God forbid. Other steroid guys can be in, but those steroid guys can't because they were better.
I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I'm just going to say it out loud because it just needs to be said. If Chase Utley gets into the MLB Hall of Fame and Alex Rodriguez doesn't,
I'm going to lose my mind.
I mean, I'm not even
I'm going to lose my mind.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
How is that humanly? Chase Utley was a great big leaguer, man.
Great player.
No issue at all with Chase Utley. There's not a category involved in which he was better than Alex Rodriguez.
Well, I'm going to ask you something controversial. Follow that up. Did you watch Chase Utley and think Hall of Famer? Because I don't think I did.
I watched him and thought that's a really good baseball player.
Hall of really good player.
Hall of really good. Yeah. I don't know if it ever struck me as that guy is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
But David Ortiz can get in. Who cares about that positive steroid test? He had a fun nickname.
Papi.
And he led a comeback against the Yankees.
Papi.
He can go in the Hall of Fame. Doesn't matter that he was hitting 220 with 7 home runs for the Twins and then all of a sudden mashing 50 bombs a year. Who cares? Came out of nowhere.
Big Papi.
But man, that nickname, you got to put that guy in Cooperstown. He didn't do anything wrong.
Remember when he almost got murdered on camera?
Yeah, he got shot in the back.
Crazy.
Somehow survived.
No, there was some good stuff to read. I was a big Ichiro guy when he came into the bigs. Everybody hyped him up. There was a lot of talk about him. The chatter.
That was such a big deal, man.
Yeah, it was. And many had heard about him from his Japan days. He comes over to America. He starts 0 for 7 in his career. There's a really funny story either on The Athletic or the Seattle Times that I was reading yesterday. And it was they played the Oakland Athletics in his first series as a Mariner.
Mm-hmm.
And Henley, I think, is the first baseman's name at the time. And Brett Boone gets on there. And he gets on first as a base runner. And the Oakland player says, man, how about your teammate? And Boone was like, what are you talking about? And when Ichiro got on to first, Henley had said, hey to him, like, hi, like, hey, welcome to the bigs.
How's it going?
And Ichiro only looked at him in his slightly broken accent and said, what's up, home slice? Didn't say another word to him the rest of the day. What's up, home slice?
What did he just say to me? What was that?
No, but he is definitely got a reputation as being the slap ball, run out of the box as you hit guy. And a lot of that is warranted. He also has legendary story about Lou Piniella being pissed and saying, do you ever just pull the ball? Do you ever pull it? And at next at bat, he cranked it, pulling it to right field.
Yeah.
And he goes to the dugout and says, like that?
Like, how about that? Is that good enough for you?
And Lou Piniella at that point was like, do whatever you want, actually.
Yeah,
you know what? Just do what you want.
You're going to hit 350 and steal 56 bases? You can do whatever you want, buddy. Welcome to the big leagues. Look, I love joking about that stuff, but it's also really dumb because if it was that easy, millions of guys would be doing this. So
Well,
just find somebody fast, put the ball in play, and beat
Right.
it out. Like, it's not that simple to do in Major League Baseball.
Don't we, in a way, I mean, look, I do love a long ball. Don't get me wrong here.
Chicks dig it.
But baseball, much like basketball, is at a point where people tend to just, instead of being honest and say, I don't really watch, they just want to bitch and moan about it.
They do.
And give a reason why instead of just saying, maybe I don't like it as much. Aren't we kind of longing for Ichiro-style baseball back in the sport a little bit?
That hit over 300, you mean?
Getting on base and being kind of smart, stealing.
Well, especially the way that they've tweaked the rules now with all the infield stuff and how many times you can throw over to first, and the bags are bigger. And so, yeah, they are encouraging. They want as much in-game action as possible. It doesn't happen overnight, but I think you'll start to see You'll start to see more of a traditional leadoff hitter, I think, start to come back. Now, they got to work their way through the minor leagues, obviously. You can't just, flip a switch.
You think eventually, what you're saying is the leadoff will eventually be an Ichiro? Because right now we've got Ohtani at leadoff.
Yeah, we have
Kyle Schwarber.
Well, yeah, but Ohtani stole 50 bases.
No, he did. He got on base and stole.
He's a freak.
But he's
more
an
Ricky
exception.
Henderson leading off.
Just put him in the hall now. What are we waiting for?
I don't know.
I mean, come on.
I can't wait for the one guy to not vote for Shohei Ohtani, too, to be in the Hall of Fame.
I wonder if we're
99.8%.
Yeah, we'll get
not
back
going to get
to
my vote.
seeing, like the Brett Butlers instead of the Kyle Schwarbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I tend to agree with Swag. I think that's the big reason why Major League Baseball changed the rules is they realize that this is something that fans are griping about. And how do you go about changing it? Well, organizations aren't going to do it on their own, so you incentivize them. And it's never been easier to steal bases in the big leagues. You can't throw over an unlimited amount of times.
Right.
You have bigger bags, as Swag pointed out. And so I think as time goes on, you will start to see that redevelop, and I hope that you do, because there is a lost art of having guys in your lineup that just move the lineup, that just get on base, that are using their speed, using different strengths. Like, you don't have to have everybody hit home runs. Just find a way to make an impact on the game. Ichiro wasn't like his batting average for his career, considering how long he played. That dude played until he was 45 years old. 45 years old.
He held on a little bit there. Yeah.
He did, and he came back. Look, the last year was
he didn't start playing until he was what?
He broke him when he was 27.
Oh,
his first year when he won Rookie of the Year, and I think finished second. He won the MVP that year.
Won the MVP. That was their
Rookie of the Year and MVP.
That's right.
Season.
So that's just insane that he did that. He was 27 years old. Now the last year he was in the bigs was the Japan game. He wanted to go back. He played 2 games in Japan. The year before that, he only played 15 games with Seattle. So last 2 years are a little bit of a wash, but his career batting average for 19 years was .311. And that's holding on for a lot of those years. Like, do you remember Ichiro with New York? Do you remember Ichiro with the Marlins? Like, we weren't glued to those highlights, but even in those years, he was hitting like 282. He had a year when he was 40 with the Yankees. He had 324.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Like, it just there's a lost art to it in baseball, and I hope that we find it a little bit, and it was fun to reminisce about that yesterday.
Did it take a lot of years of child abuse to get to that point? It absolutely did. His dad sounds like an absolute a-hole, but you know what? He made him great.
They made him a Hall of Famer. Whatever he did, it worked out.
It did. I was just really happy. I don't know where he would be at for the Mariner Pantheon. We've kind of talked about that in years past when I found out John Sukanik hated him. Which was weird that he celebrated him yesterday. I'm like, dude, I've heard you be pretty vocal.
John was pretty honest, I felt like, on Twitter when I saw his tweets. He was like, you were never my favorite guy, but you brought a lot of memories, that kind of stuff.
I quite literally feel like John Sukanik hated him. Not just like, hey, you weren't my favorite, but like didn't like him at all.
He also had the absolute spot-on line of how this is all going to work out, and I can't wait for when we get to this portion of the calendar, when Mariner fans start yelling at us about how their team's going to win the World Series this year. No. This is the year we're going to go make moves. This is the year it'll be different, even though every year in your history has been the exact same.
Donnie Batts.
He said, make no mistake, the Mariners will beat this into the ground all summer long to conveniently distract from all of us from the fact they're once again refusing to be better than 85
Well, they've already announced when they're retiring his uniform.
They're going to retire his jersey. He's going to be around. They're going to have Ichiro bobblehead night. Ichiro's in the hall. That'll be their whole theme the entire summer. Don't care about the fact that we don't have a third baseman, first baseman, or second baseman right now.
It doesn't have to matter, but it kind of should. The fact that guys like Cal Ripken and Ichiro are not just 100% Hall of Fame baseball players. The only player in the entire Hall of Fame, the only one
guy ever
to get 100% of the vote.
One guy.
Mariano Rivera.
One guy. A
Hey,
specialist.
You play one inning, one half inning.
Yeah.
He's an all-time great, but he
he
was a
absolutely
specialist.
is.
He was a specialist.
That's crazy.
when Ken Griffey Jr. was up and didn't.
It's just stupid.
That
People are
was
stupid.
when they started to wonder what was going on.
There are
with
two
the baseball
things
writers.
that we need to take control of. Can we get an executive order on this? I want an executive order on taking Major League Baseball Hall of Fame voters, throwing them all off the rolls, and then coming up with a new set of voter, because these people are clearly stupid.
Well, we need to find out who it was.
That's step number one. Step number two is doing that with the college football AP top 25. We need to eliminate all of them, and you should have to pass some sort of test of knowledge or base level understanding or how much football do you watch in order to get a top 25 vote.
Fun day. I was happy that he got in. It was really cool. Not that there was a doubt, but also I didn't know it was happening yesterday until I heard that he made it.
Totally
I'm
forgot.
Like, all right.
Saw it on Twitter. I was like, oh, look at that. Ichiro's in the Hall of Fame now. And Braves legend Bobby Wagner went in last night.
Absolutely did. Andrew Jones will be in there
Glad
next
to
year.
see CC Sabathia get in.
Were you?
That one makes me smile.
I love CC Sabathia.
CC was great.
He
I
was
was glad
great.
he got in as well.
He had an
Wagner,
awesome career.
Specialist. Whatever.
When you can play a professional sport for that long wearing pajamas every day.
Is there not an element of the
Yeah.
closer role that, like, I have no problem with them being Hall of Famers, but, when you compare them to the others, it's like,
I don't know. Edgar finally got in.
You feel that
They
way
finally-
about DHs?
Finally recognized the DH.
I feel like DHs play a little more.
Well, they play every
Four
day for the
at-bats,
most part. Like,
yeah.
there's no guarantee that a closer is going to play. You got to be in the
Right,
lead, and
that's-
right. So you're not going to, you probably have 60 appearances or something like 65, 70 on the year max.
It'd be
for a
fun to go
closer.
back and count how many times did the Mets play the horns for Diaz. Of 162 games, how many times did they get to play him? I know half of those are home games, but
yes. How many
it's-
times did he actually enter into it and play at a game?
But Ichiro Suzuki makes the MLB Hall of Fame with Billy Wagner, and CC Sabathia is your Hall of Fame class. Utley and Andrew Jones probably up next, and then after that, we'll kind of wait and see.
Yeah, 54, by the way, is your answer from last year. Edwin Diaz appeared in 54 games. Prior to his injury, his career high was 73 with Seattle in 2018.
Wow.
So